You read that sentence. Good. Because statistically, it's the last thing you'll actually read before clicking a button today. The most powerful word in your life is not love. It's not money. It's not even yes. It's agree. That little word. That tiny rectangular button at the bottom of a wall of text you have never, not once, scrolled through. You've clicked it roughly 1,500 times this year. Exposed yourself to binding legal obligations 1,500 times. Signed contracts, real, enforceable, court-admissible contracts 1,500 times. Without reading a single line. What a remarkable coincidence that the button is always green, always large, always at the bottom, and the text above it is always gray, always small, always just long enough to make your eyes glaze over. Almost as if someone designed it that way. Because someone did. And here's where the magic begins. This wasn't a conspiracy hatched in a dark room. No. It was far more elegant than that. Over the past 30 years, a quiet revolution took place at the intersection of two professions you'd never think to put together. Contract law and user experience design. Lawyers figured out what they wanted to say. Designers figured out how to make sure you'd never read it. A beautiful partnership, really. Each side doing their job exceptionally well. You were told this was about convenience, about streamlining your experience, about getting you to the content faster. What you weren't told is that every millisecond of friction they removed from the process was a millisecond of thinking they removed from your brain. Behavioral economists discovered something fascinating decades ago. When text exceeds 200 words and there's an actionable button visible on screen, reading rates collapse to nearly zero. Not low, not reduced, nearly zero. So the system adapted. Not by making contracts shorter or simpler. No, that would defeat the purpose. Instead, they made the button bigger. They made the text lighter. They added a subtle animation that draws your eye downward, past the words, toward the click. They put a checkbox that says, "I have read and agreed to the terms of service," right next to a bright, inviting call to action. And you checked it. Every time. Knowing full well you hadn't read a thing. But that's not all. Let me tell you what lives inside those walls of text you've been so diligently ignoring. Forced arbitration clauses. You know what that means? It means you waived your right to take the company to court. Not hypothetically, legally. If something goes wrong, and things do go wrong, you don't get a judge. You don't get a jury. You get a private arbitrator, often selected from a pool that the company itself has a relationship with. Convenient, isn't it? Class action waivers. This one is particularly elegant. Even if 1 million people are harmed by the same practice, you cannot band together. Each of you must fight alone. One individual against an institution with a legal department larger than most towns. Someone decided this was more convenient, and it wasn't you. Unilateral modification clauses. This is my personal favorite. We may change these terms at any time without notice. Read that again. The contract you sign today may not be the contract that exists tomorrow. They can rewrite the rules after you've agreed to play the game, and your agreement still counts. Imagine that. Perpetual data licenses, your photos, your messages, your voice recordings from that assistant device sitting in your kitchen, listening so patiently. All of it licensed to the platform. Not temporarily, not conditionally. Forever. You uploaded a photo of your child's birthday. Somewhere in paragraph 47 of a document you never opened, you granted an irrevocable, worldwide, royalty-free license to use that image for anything. Did you notice? No? Then allow me to draw your attention to it now, though it's a bit late, and liability shields. The company is responsible for nothing. Not for data breaches, not for service failures, not for the consequences of their own recommendations. Nothing. You agreed to that too. Enthusiastically, judging by how fast you clicked. And here, it starts to get uncomfortable. The most successful legal revolution of the 21st century required no legislation. No congressional vote. No public debate. No referendum. Not a single law was passed. They didn't need laws. They had buttons. Green ones. With rounded corners and satisfying little animations. While you were watching elections, arguing about policies, debating which candidate would protect your rights were being quietly, methodically, elegantly signed away. Not by politicians, by you. With your own finger. On your own screen. The system isn't broken. It works exactly as intended. You were offered a choice every single time. Agree or decline. And of course, decline means you can't use the service, can't access the app, can't participate in modern life, so it's not really a choice, is it? It's a door with one handle. Funny how neatly it all came together. 30 years of legal architecture. Billions of dollars in design research. Entire careers devoted to the science of making you not read. And it worked. Flawlessly. You signed more contracts this year than most people in the 18th century signed in a lifetime. And you have no idea what any of them say. So here's something to sit with tonight, when you're lying in bed, scrolling through a device that has already collected today's data under terms you approved 19 updates ago. If you signed 1,000 contracts this year without reading them, do you actually own anything you think you own? And what exactly did you agree to?